Play the song, make it groove, make it feel good. You're the one laying it down. You are in the driver's seat. You're there to support the artist.
Yeah.
It's not about the drummer.
Hadn't had a good time since you know when. Got talked into going out with hopes you were staying in. I was feeling like myself for the first time in a long time, till I bumped into some of your friends over there talking to mine. Then you rolled in with your hair in the wind, baby, without warning. I was doing alright, but just your side had my heart storming. The moon went high and stars quit shining, rain was dropping, thunder, lightning, you wrecked my whole world when you came and hit me like a hurricane. You hit me like a hurricane. Knew it was gonna be a long night from the moment when we locked eyes over whiskey on ice, started talking about us again. And if I would've just laid my drink down and walked down, well, I wouldn't be in my truck driving us to your house. But you rolled in with your hair in the wind, baby, without warning. I was doing alright, but just your side had my heart storming. The moon went high and stars quit shining, rain was driving, thunder, lightning, you wrecked my whole world when you came and hit me like a hurricane. Hit me like a hurricane. Category 5 with your smile blew me away, and girl, it ain't but midnight. You done killed the light, bend my heart back to your bedside. Then you rolled in with your hair in the wind, baby, without warning. 'Cause I was doing alright, but just your side had my heart storming. The moon went high and stars quit shining, rain was dropping, thunder, lightning, you wrecked my whole world when you came and hit me like a hurricane. You hit me like a hurricane. Hit me like a hurricane.
Nice job, man.
Nice, man.
Welcome here. This is long overdue.
It's good to be here. It's good to finally be here.
And to all of you out there watching, please welcome Jake Sommers to Drumeo. It's great to have you here. And for anyone who doesn't know, Jake, you've been playing for Luke Combs for 9 years now.
Yeah,
Pretty
yeah.
much since the beginning.
Since the beginning. Van, you know, van and van trailer and so on.
Yeah. From that to playing like probably one of the biggest tours of the last, of the year for sure.
Yeah, I'd say so. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. I remember it was probably like 3 months ago. We were hanging out at the show in Vancouver, and it is just insane the crowds you guys are playing for.
It's nuts.
And everyone just knowing every song and singing along. It's pretty wild. You've been playing stadiums, arenas all over the world. You played the Grammys, you played SNL, all the TV stops and press stops. And lastly, we do this kind of stuff inside of Drumeo all the time. There's a link right down in the description, drumeo.com/trial. We have 5,000 song transcriptions and drumless tracks that you can play along with your favorite songs and learn them. We have a method for learning how to play the drums. We have exclusive content from, upcoming will be lots of stuff from you in the new year. as well as tons and tons of other amazing drummers. So if you want to check that out, there's a link right below. And we do these kinds of live events all the time, and it's always great to have guests in the studio to share their experience and what they've learned along the way. So I'm stoked for this lesson because, like everyone saw in that opening track, you're an open-handed player, and you've got a really cool approach to playing the kit. And we're going to get into that and how to strengthen your weaker side, because I think all of us have a weaker limb. I know for myself, it's always the left hand. That's always the one that holds you up, and you always want to try to even out with your lead hand, but
As best as you can, yeah.
yeah, so we're going to get all into that, but let's play one more song.
Yeah, let's do it.
We've got The Kind of Love We Make by Luke Combs.
Mm-hmm.
Anything we should know about this track?
It's pretty straightforward. There is a cool fill towards the end that I think you guys will notice, and it's always fun to play. And it's, this is a great song to also focus on if you want to work on open-handed playing, because I play mostly hi-hat, obviously my left hand. There is a section where I do go to the ride with my right, so it's great to practice.
Awesome. Here it is. Awesome, man.
Thank you.
It's cool seeing in the chats, because I think probably majority of drummers are crosshand, right hand lead, and there's people saying like, "Oh, this is the way I practice strengthening the left." And
That's great to hear that.
yeah, so we're gonna get into that, and even just like watching you do that, it's like makes you want to just work on that other side. So I guess what's the story with how did you get into open-handed playing with the left hand on the hats? It seems to be more common nowadays than maybe years ago. But yeah, what's the story?
Yeah, so I'm actually left-handed, but when I first got a kit when I was 6 years old, my arms just naturally fell in this position. And when I started playing, it just felt natural to me. And I was like, okay, well, I'm lefty. This is my dominant hand. Let's try going here. And I noticed, okay, cool, I can do the same with my right. So I was like, oh, shoot, I'm ambidextrous. This is awesome. Whereas, you know, most guys who are left-handed and open-handed have their right over here.
Yes.
And I try to, if I have friends who are open-handed that do have a right over here, I'm like, hey, try putting a right here just to get this other limb up to speed.
Yeah.
Because you could do a lot. I mean, yeah, you can do a lot with the right here and have this whole hand free, but it's like if you have a right here, you have this whole hand free then too.
Yeah.
And it's just, yeah, something that kind of just lucky enough to come natural. And I guess fortunate about that. But I did try when I was a kid playing right over left, and I can do it to a degree, but it's not that good.
Yeah.
At least the sounds I get aren't good. And I even once tried making the whole kit left-handed or a lefty kit, and my left foot did not want to cooperate.
I feel like that's probably the biggest hang-up. Like, I know I've sat down at a full lefty kit, and like the hands, it's okay, but when you get your feet involved and you're playing like the kick drum with the left foot, it's a total trip.
It's weird. It's weird. And I'm like, I'm left-handed. I'm like, that is weird.
Yeah. So what would you say, especially for any drummers who are just starting out and maybe they aren't even aware of all the possibilities of how you can play cross-handed, open-handed. What are the benefits of playing this way, left hand on the hi-hat over to even right hand on the ride?
One of the, it's so silly and maybe so small of a detail, but it's like one of the coolest things about playing open-handed here or here is you can make all these huge motions when you're playing a show. You know, doesn't matter the room, you could still reach the person all the way in the back. Or all the way up top in the venue. And it's like, that's, yes, part of being a showman, but also part of your job is to reach the people as far back as possible. And that this gives way to being able to make these huge motions. And you could also, you know, you could be really creative. If you have your whole right hand open, think about you keep time here. You can make so many different melodies with your right hand and vice versa with your left hand.
Yeah.
So it gives you a lot of freedom to do either or and much more on the kit, and you never have to cross.
Yeah. I think we'll do another track later on, but I think that's one example of where you're moving around the kit with the left hand. And, orchestrations kind of open up. For someone who wants to get into this, where would you start? I think you mentioned starting with two surfaces.
Yeah, we can definitely get into that if you want now.
Yeah, let's do it.
So definitely start with two surfaces, and then I'll play a groove for you guys with both. So I would say start with your right hand on the ride, left hand on the snare, and we'll just do eighth notes for a bar, and then we'll do 2 and 4 on the snare, and then we'll switch it to the left side to where you do eighth notes with both hands, and then you're just doing eighth notes here on the hi-hat, and then 2 and 4 on the snare. So We'll go something like this. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And now if you add your feet, we'll just do a simple 1 and 3. So it'll go something like this.
Nice.
So I would say that's definitely a good starting point. And you know, make sure your hands are balanced too. Even as a warm-up exercise, if you have a pad on your snare drum, just doing both hands together simultaneously helps because it strengthens your weaker hand. So I'll just do it in the hi-hat for now, but if you just go. If you do this for a minute, try to get whatever your weaker hand is, if that's your left hand, to be very much like your right, like a mirror image. And then, yeah, pull this hand away and see if you can keep going. And then just do 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. And then, yeah, same with the ride. So I think there's one simple way to start playing open-handed and getting a little developed with that.
Nice. I know when I was starting out, I always got frustrated with the left hand because I could probably play twice as fast with the right as the left, and you always try to find ways to develop that and even them out. And I don't think we ever get to a point where our limbs are perfectly equal, unless you're Mike Mangini or something like that. But
yeah, he's not.
But that's a great way to do it. I remember any of you who are familiar with the New Breed as well, you probably went through that book.
Oh yeah. I'm still going back into it just for fun.
Yeah, and all the combinations of play whatever grooves cross-handed with your right, and then it's a totally different game when you're flipping it and playing it.
Oh yeah, have a ride cymbal over here, have a hi-hat over here, and I think for like if there are the exercises with the hi-hat here, if you don't have that set up, at least you could have a second ride here. You could play that hi-hat part on the ride over here while doing the foot stuff with your left foot.
Yeah, totally. So from there, starting with 2 surfaces, that's like the base level.
Very basic.
Great exercise, just the 8th notes and then the 2 and 4 on the snare. Where do we take it from there once we've got that happening with the basic groove and stuff?
Shoot, let's see. There's so much you can do. I mean, I could add some extra kick drums if you want.
Yeah, let's see what that sounds like.
I'll just do like a simple 1 and 2, 3, and just so people could hear it. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I think doing just simple grooves to start out until you really get the feel of it is really beneficial. Don't just try to go crazy and think what's the hardest stuff you can come up with. But a cool thing that I actually wrote out before coming here, and I got to use it on a song that I'm not going to say what I played. But
stay tuned.
Stay tuned. But being able to take your right hand on the ride, left hand on the hi-hat, and go in between. So it'll be something like. Or vice versa. Obviously, if you speed that up, it sounds. Or.
Yeah, there's like a different melody to both of those.
Yeah, like the sound surface you start on really changes or impacts how the groove is.
Yeah, and I guess you could even break that down to, like, did you practice a lot of rudiments, both right hand and left hand lead?
Oh, definitely. Like paradiddles. One of my favorites is the paradiddle diddle. So doing like left hand. Shoot.
Yeah, nice.
Dude, I think whatever you practice with your right hand is important to practice with your weaker hand.
Awesome. So from there, that's some basic grooves. How does this apply to playing drum fills?
Oh man, so like Pat Boone, Debbie Boone. We'll start with the right hand. So starting with the right, then the left. That's one, obviously, the standard one. You could do a build-up, left hand on the snare, and ride cymbal, classic Rich Redmond build-up.
Yeah.
We'll incorporate the kick drum for just this one instance, so it'll be like. Another one, I mean, you could do obviously like left hand on the crash, build up like this. And either way, you're still playing both hands together, and it needs to be so precise that you're not flamming it all. Like, let me see if I can even try to purposely mess up. Something like that. You want it to be aligned at all fronts when you're doing stuff like that, so it doesn't sound weird.
Yeah, I guess too, depending on which hand you're moving to which drum, or even if you're playing a lot of different kits or configurations, there's different things that if you get caught on the bottom floor tom and want to get over here, if you can just change that sticking and you have the freedom to move around, yeah, you can like help yourself get out of tricky situations. And
like here's a cool one. It's simple, but you're actually doing a double on the floor tom on the way back. So I'll play just a 16th note fill around the drums and then back. So
yeah,
doing that quick. And it just depends on what sticking you want to do.
Yeah, and great for practicing even just movement
around
the kit, like practicing that counterclockwise motion.
I think it's, I don't get to do both ways that often, but
yeah,
I at least get to go around, and it's like, well, maybe one day I'll be able to play a song that gets to go back around.
When Luke gives you the, yes, you can play this one, left-hand lead.
Yep, yeah. Show me
Nice.
what you got, drummer boy.
Exactly. One I found interesting, we were talking about this earlier too, and you filmed a separate piece on this, but the bossa nova, this is something you like to practice open-handed and both hands leading.
Yeah, I mean, like, if I had to, I unfortunately don't really play bossa novas or Latin, much anymore. But I still think it's important to keep those chops up, and it is good to be able to do it on both sound surfaces, open-handed, aside from just utilizing how you are strongest.
Yeah.
So I can go over that real quick.
Yeah.
So, one, we'll start with the left hand on the hi-hat, and then we'll go to right hand on the ride, and So 1, 2, 3, 4. Now ride cymbal.
Yeah.
I think that's a good, another good groove, even though it's a different genre, to be able to play on both sides.
Yeah.
And you don't have to cross. If you're doing it.
Yeah.
I think being able to play open-handed, and the less crossing you do, you won't get really tripped up.
Yeah. I think, too, for anyone watching who maybe is asking, like, why would I want to play left-handed when...
I know it looks weird, but...
Yeah, I'm fine playing right-handed or whatever. I think also it's important to remember that a lot of this stuff is, you could even just consider developing headroom. Where, like, I would always play probably cross-handed. That's the way I grew up playing. But if your left hand is stronger, it's only going to help everything else you do.
Yeah.
If you're doing builds, you're going to get less tired with the left hand. You're going to be able to play, have more independence. So there's really no benefits. Even, I mean, you're not playing in a Latin group.
No,
but
not at all.
I mean, that opens up possibilities, makes other things easier because you have the ability to do those even more challenging things.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, so many different things you can come up with that you should try at home, and just have fun with it. And don't get discouraged. It's like, it takes time. Anything that you want to really work on will take time. But I think in the long run, people will be like, okay, this really is something unique. And once they think they open up that creativity side of different melodies they can play, they'll be like, okay, this is beneficial.
Before we move on and play another track in a little bit, I'd love for you to just play a bit on the kit and come up with some ideas, kind of mess around with some stuff, left-hand lead, right-hand lead, and kind of see just what happens.
Just go wild.
Yeah, man.
Okay.
Like you're switching all the time.
Yeah, and then I mean you can do the classic floor tom stuff. Let's see.
Yeah.
Being able to open up your ride playing with a bell, like a kind of classic Blink-182 type of deal.
Yeah, totally.
Thanks, Travis.
Yeah. Dude, I always, like, I think it was the first time I saw Simon Phillips play. Known for open-handed playing. And it's like, man, I wonder what it would have been like if I started playing drums at 8 years old and just did everything both right and left.
Hey, there's still time.
I know. But it's like, you sometimes think back, like, how even would my hands be if I actually split the time 50-50? But man, like, yourself, Simon Phillips, so many examples of players who do that. And
Carter.
Yeah. It's just, there's like no negatives to doing it.
No, there really aren't. I wish more people tried or practiced open-handed playing.
Yeah.
And I feel like sometimes it gets a bad rap. It's like, oh, like you look weird playing. It's like, yeah, but that's how I play.
Yeah.
And it's like, if it sounds good, it sounds good. That's what's most important. Who cares how it looks?
Yeah. If you're not injuring yourself.
Yeah, if you're not injuring yourself.
It's all good.
And if you're able to play at a high level doing it, or just gig in general, it doesn't matter if you're playing in a bar band or playing stadiums.
Yeah.
As long as you're playing it and it sounds good and it feels good to the people around you and you're making the people in the crowd move,
yeah,
that's what matters in the long run.
Yeah.
You mastered something that a lot of people haven't.
Mm-hmm. Awesome, man.
Thanks.
We should do another track.
Yeah.
This next one is Going, Going, Gone.
Yeah.
And this one has, you were saying there's like some ghost note stuff with the right hand, and then the left hand is doing the tom orchestrations and stuff.
Mm-hmm. And there's also like a 5-stroke roll here and there in the as I'm going around on the snare drum. So this song, there was definitely some overdubs. So it's 2 different drum parts, but I'm playing them simultaneously at the same time.
Cool. Classic drummer move.
Yeah. Well, I asked the producer and I was like, there's 2 drum parts in this, aren't there? They're like, yeah, one was an overdub. I'm like, thanks. I have to now play this together.
Yeah. I remember when Jonathan Moffat was here, we were doing Shake Your Body Down to the Ground by the Jackson 5. And I guess that was 3 drum parts. And he's like, well, when I went to the audition, I wanted to play the part, but didn't know it was 3 drummers, so just learned as close as possible the 3 different parts. And like, it's just what drummers do.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But that's amazing to me. And I still don't get this whole thing, but
it's harder than it looks.
Oh, I bet it's really difficult. I feel like that also eventually would wear you down.
Yeah. It's a lot of work.
Great showmanship, though.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, this is Going, Going, Gone by Luke Combs.
Like a runaway southbound train, like an Arizona desert rain, like lightning in the sky, like fireworks in July, like a left field home run ball, like a whiskey shot at last call. It's like she was made for moving on. That girl is going, going, gone. like an Arizona desert rain, like lightning in the sky, like fireworks in July, like a left field home run ball, like a whiskey shot and last call. It's like she was made for moving on. That girl is going, going, gone. Going, going, gone. Oh. Going, going, gone.
That's a smooth groove.
Yeah, yeah.
like it.
I noticed. I probably shouldn't be saying this on live, but there was a part where I had a little oopsie, but no one caught it. It wasn't really an oopsie.
You do it live.
You know what? I played the wrong part, which was supposed to be later on, which I did. So hopefully, when people,
I had no idea.
Cool, even better. I just threw myself under the bus.
Means
for no
you're
reason.
a pro.
Yeah,
It's cool though. Like you can see,
it worked. It worked.
having the ability to move around with different hands and play those accents and the toms.
Yeah, and then in the second verse, how steady your hands have to be on the snare, and there's a lot. There really is a lot more going on to it than it's perceived, but
Yeah.
it's a lot with the toms and
Yeah.
making sure everything lines up. And there's obviously that some of the toms are on off beats and stuff.
Yeah.
So.
Awesome. There's two questions I want to answer from some of our Drumeo students.
Let's do it.
Relating to this topic. The first one is from Spider Dan, and they're asking, my right hand has some dexterity problems as a result of an injury 30 years ago. Question one, what exercises can I do that strengthen just holding my grip on the stick?
Oh, man. I mean, it's always key to just, hold it as loose as possible. You never want to grip it too hard because then you will get tension in your forearm. Make sure the first pad of your finger here is gripping it here, because then really it's just fingers essentially. And the looser you are, the better. And if you just work on just your right hand to build it back up, I think that'll help.
Yeah,
Hopefully that answers your question.
probably taking it slow is the
Slow is definitely
key.
better. And remember, simple is key. You don't have to play fast all the time. As you just saw, it's like that groove is really slow and, it fits the song, but it also grooves. You
Yeah.
can play some really slow grooves and it sounds great.
Yeah. Nice. And this other one from Aiden Simon, they ask, do you have any tips for improving dynamic consistency with both hands?
Yeah, I mean, just doing what we talked about earlier of just playing both hands together, just doing the eighth note, just, play it quietly, and then, play it medium, then loud. I think if you do that, and then, take one hand away and just see, like, if your weaker hand could do that. It's like, say your weaker hand is your left hand, you're doing... can you get it balanced to where every stroke is even? You're keeping it, dynamically soft to where it's not, you're not wanting to, randomly just go. You want to be one even level, no matter what dynamic you're playing. So I think if you just practice them simultaneously at different height variations and really focus on, okay, I'm going to keep it soft for now, then medium or forte, that'll really help. And you don't have to do it on the hi-hat, even just do it, practice. Like a lot of buildups are between sometimes the snare and the floor tom or the snare and both toms. Practice it on those surfaces too, where you're going to actually do that with a song. So I think that'll help just by doing. You tell yourself while you're doing it, be like, okay, I'm going to play it like this for a minute, and then get a little louder, and then really build up. I think, that would be in a practical situation where do it on how you're going to be playing it live.
Yeah. Great answer.
Thank you.
We got a few minutes left. Time goes so fast in these, man.
It's already almost
Crazy.
over, man. Let's keep going.
The 3-hour session. We'll do the whole set.
Why not?
I want to talk about just country drumming in general, like your job as the drummer with Luke Combs. I find there's certain genres of music that maybe drummers, maybe look down upon isn't the right word, but maybe think less of because it's not a drum-focused style of music. And I think country often gets put into that box where, I mean, no one listens to country music because of the insane drum parts in 7/8 and whatever.
Yeah.
So can you talk a little bit about like your role as a drummer in country music, and did you grow up listening to country? Was that where you thought you would go? Yeah, I think that's something we should talk about because you're the guy to touch on that.
So I did not grow up listening to country music. I grew up listening to rock and roll and all that stuff. And I went to college in Philadelphia at a place called University of the Arts. That was a jazz school, and I had some amazing instructors there. My junior year, there was a girl who lived in New Jersey that was a country artist, and I was like, you know what? She needed a drummer, so I was like, I'll learn her stuff, and started kind of getting into it that way. And then I enjoyed it, so I listened to it a little more and more. And one of my dad's friends who worked in the industry, but it was on the rock side, said if Jake wants to pursue this more, he should check out Nashville. So I did, and the first thing I saw was the Lower Broadway honky tonk scene, and I was like, wow, it's music almost 24/7. I fell in love with it.
Yeah.
When I got back, I just did a deep dive of whatever Billboard top 30 country songs are, and obviously further back. And I remember that summer I charted out at least 150 to 200 songs before moving to Nashville. So the summer before I moved, and a little beforehand, was when I kind of really did a full deep dive, and I practiced constantly to whatever songs, hours and hours a day, to kind of really get the playing style of it. Because it's not anything. There are times where it's not, overly drum related, but the point of playing drums in a country group or for an artist, you're the one laying it down. You are in the driver's seat. So it's like everything, for the most part, relies on you. If you pull or if you push, they'll go with you. If you pull back, they'll go with you. And, that's part of it, is like, the drum parts might not always be flashy, but you're there to support the artist. Yeah. It's not about the drummer. It's like, obviously it's an amazing, amazing career and amazing job. And it's like, it's about supporting the song in the long run. It's not about, oh, am I going to do like a Swiss triplet here or a flam diddle there? No, it's about, groove. Play the song, make it groove, make it feel good. And
Yeah. What would you say are some of the most challenging parts about playing drums on the Luke Combs gig?
I feel like when you're playing, at least for me, when I'm playing the show, I'm so in the zone that my focus thankfully doesn't stray away. And there were times where, I wouldn't say difficulties, but as a player for myself, I was so focused on what I was playing, I would constantly like not look at the crowd and I would still be having fun, but I'd be focusing on what I'm playing. And it's like, I know the songs, it's like, have fun, play. And like, but you still have to always have your head in the game. Yeah. Cause say something happened, they're like, hey, like loop this section. Okay, cool. Like you're ready to go. Or, say an intro got messed up for some reason. If there was a capo on the wrong fret or something like that, it's like, if he wants to start it over, you got to be ready to go. Like, stop playing, count it back in.
Nice.
But for the most part, it's like, just I'd say do your homework, and which thankfully I do, and be as over prepared. Yeah. So where you don't have to really think when you're playing. It's like the songs, and like you've worked up the whole show in rehearsals to where like when of course, like your first show when you start a new tour or whatever the case may be, is like you're going to be a little nervous, but it's like you have to tell yourself, you got this. This is what all this practice is for. Yeah. And there's been everybody has little flubs here and there, but like if no one else noticed it, kudos to you. Yeah. If it's such a small thing, it's like just tell yourself, you know what, next show I got this.
Yeah. Awesome, man.
I hope that answered the question.
No, that's great. And I think you hit on one point that I think it doesn't matter what style of music you're playing. If you want to work and do what you're doing, it's like you have to play for the artist. Yeah. And
it's not about you.
Yeah. I mean, that's what so many drummers who have sat in this seat have said the same thing. And it's got to be the universal rule.
No, I think it is. And if it's like, if you want to just have it be about you, then just do social media stuff.
Yeah.
Do it from your house. If you don't want to play in a band or play for an artist, just do your own thing.
Yeah.
But if you want to, it's about the music. It's about the song. It's about the artist.
Yeah. And just imagine, like, the song you just played, if you were just, like, ripping over that, like, it wouldn't be what it is.
Not at all. It would
like, people would be looking at you in the worst way possible.
Like, what in the world is this guy doing? How did he keep the gig?
Why is he shredding on this ballad? Just makes no sense. So
It's not like, hey, let's drum solo time.
Yeah. Yeah. Though I have to say, one of my favorite parts of the show is when Luke comes back and you guys just wail on the china.
It is fun. Yeah, Banner broke my heart, and there's been, we've gone through one, and the one that I have out right now is held up, and really hoping it holds up all throughout Europe, and holds till next year. So, but it was a fun part.
Does he play any drums?
I tried teaching him. God, please don't kill me. I tried teaching him, and there's actually a photo that I'll show you after the fact, but it's
nice.
Me teaching him, and he was like, I don't know how you do this, and I really, give you props because it's not easy. And it's amazing to see, to be able to see you play, and he's also left-handed, but he plays guitar righty.
Interesting. Had no idea.
Yeah. So he's like, I give props to drummers. This is not easy.
Yeah.
So.
Awesome, man.
Yeah, I have tried teaching him. I'd like to try teaching him again if he.
There's still hope.
If he wants to learn a little bit here and there.
Yeah.
There's still hope.
I love it. Maybe one day we'll all go to a show and then he'll get on the kit. You can play some double drums.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. There was not to keep going, or to go too far into it, but we had played at US Bank Stadium where the Vikings play.
Yeah.
And their whole thing is like, skull, 2, 3. So one of the opening acts let us borrow a floor tom. And I think he had a mallet, or he took one of my sticks, and it was like, skull, boom. So he did that.
Okay.
While one of our other guys, it's a huge Vikings fan, was like in the mic, like, skull. And so he was like, boom, boom, like just bashing the drum, and it was awesome to see.
Nice. We'll have to find
it was cool.
Find a clip of that.
Hopefully it's somewhere.
I'm sure there's something on YouTube. Jake, thanks so much for hanging out, man.
Hey, thank you, and thank you to everybody else at Drumeo for having me. It's been an absolute blast and an honor, and I can't wait to hopefully come back one day.
Yeah, man. You survived the treacherous song learning that we did while you were out here.
That was a lot of fun, and I'm so down to do it again. I think more people should just do that at home.
Actually, though, yeah. It's stay tuned for the stuff on YouTube coming from Jake. Plus, in the new year, there's some awesome stuff coming for Drumeo members as well. Yeah, if you want to try it out, the link is right below, drumeo.com/trial. And yeah, make sure you go see Jake on the road next year, 2024.
Yeah, 2024.
You're playing all over the place. Yeah, he's a beast. I've seen the show.
We're coming to Canada. We're doing a few
US.
festivals, stadium tour in the US. And yeah, if you're around, it'd be great to meet you in person and all that stuff.
Yeah. Awesome. So you're going to close out with a track called Cold As You, also by Luke Combs.
Yes, and this song has some really cool fills in it.
Nice. Can't wait, man. Take it away, and thanks all for watching, and we'll see you again soon.
Their happy hour way home. When guys like me lose girls like you, that's where we run to. They got Whiskey River on the jukebox, a honky-tonk sawdust dance floor, a neon 5 o'clock road clock, and plenty damn many when you want more. This road car's full on an old bar stool, drinking beer almost as cold as you. Bunch of good time numbers on the stall board, a picture of you on the dartboard. Them cinder block walls ain't ever been clean, still ain't as dirty as you done me. Whiskey River on the jukebox, a honky-tonk sawdust dance floor, a girls like you, that's where we run to. We got Whiskey River on the jukebox, a honky-tonk sawdust dance floor. I need